Agitani of Japan is in there, one of a brace of Japanese. There's Kata Semenya. Remember her? Well, she was a marvellous twice Olympic champion, double Olympic champion in London 2012, Rio 2016. She's had to move up in distances because of the DSD rulings from World Athletics. There's Kip Kemboy, Margaret Chelimo Kip Kemboy. She got bronze medal in the 10,000 in Kip Kemboy in a personal best. She's the silver medalist from 2019 in Doha. Sarah Lahti of Sweden hasn't broken 15 minutes. That's the benchmark of world class, really. Edma Brea of Venezuela is in there. Camila Richardson of Finland. And then Carisha Schweitzer of the USA. She was 9th in the 10,000 in a personal best. Twice NCAA champion. She was the US champion over 10,000 on this track 4 weeks ago. Took a silver in their 5,000. Very experienced Schweitzer. Daewot Seum won here 2 5,000s this year, winning in Oslo and in Birmingham earlier on this season. Borelli of Argentina is there. Emily Infeld, big roar for her, one of that brace of Americans in this one. Bronze medalist back in 2015 at 10,000. Maureen Costa is there for the Netherlands. Watch her, European indoor bronze medalist at 3,000 a few years back. And Amy Eloise Marcotes of Great Britain, European indoor champion last year in Torun. Well, slight pause there. 37 athletes in the 2 heats. Saturday's 10,000 metres champion Guide goes in the 2nd heat. We are guaranteed a new champion. A rogue gun going off there, bit of testing going off in the background. The officials, we have to remember them, all trying to work and do their jobs well in this sweltering heat. A massive shout out for them and their voluntary work in the vast majority of cases. Helena Beery is the champion of 2019. She is not running in these 2 heats. Away they go then. 12 and a half laps of the track in this first of 2 heats for the women's 5,000 metres. Only 5 go through by right. It's very warm here, north of 30 degrees centigrade in Hayward Field. Far from ideal conditions. The Japanese, well, there's 2 of them in this race. 2 Ethiopians, 2 Kenyans, a couple of Americans, and then smattering of other nationalities. How will Caster Semenya cope in these very warm testing conditions? There she is, in about 8th place, 7th or 8th place at the moment on the inside in that green and yellow strip of South Africa. But Obiri, the champion from 2019, will be watching this with interest. She's veering more towards the half marathon and the marathon now. Kip Kemboy, the silver medalist in 2019, does go in this race. But to the Japanese, Hannah, renowned for their strength and their determination and their enjoying fast times, they don't really have the big kicks that you associate with the Ethiopians and the Kenyans. That's why we've got a Japanese at the front right now, Ririka Hironaka.
Japanese have got such a wonderful infrastructure in Japan with their professional teams. This underpins some brilliant performances. And you have that domestic kind of organisation and competition. It really helps kind of produce the best athletes you possibly can. And Hironaka, no stranger to leading major championship races. Nozomi Tanaka will go in the 2nd heat. We see her leading so often in 1,500 metres. She might do the same in her heat as well. You always get a feel that the Japanese athletes, they want to give their very best performance. And for them, that's often a faster time. They kind of think, I don't want to leave it to chance. As you say, Tim, not necessarily always renowned for their sprint finishes, but instead coming out and making these rounds fast and honest time and time again.
Well, Carissa Schweitzer has just eased into 2nd place between the 2 Japanese athletes. In 4th place is Klosterhalven of Germany, bronze medalist from 3 years ago. She was 8th in the 10,000 metres in Tokyo last year. The German will be quite happy for this to click along at a sensible tempo, reasonably honest tempo, even though she has a fantastic range. She has great speed, Klosterhalfen. I know everybody associates her with 5,000 metres and 10,000 metres. She has actually broken 2 minutes for 800 metres. She's broken 4 minutes for 1,500 and has, of course, gone a long way under 15 minutes for the full 5,000 metre distance. Agitani, the 2nd of the Japanese, tucked in into 5th place now. So it is Hironaka, ahead of Schweitzer, Klosterhalfen in 3rd in that yellow strip of Germany. In the first of the Kenyans coming through. That is Chebet, I think. Beatrice Chebet in 4th place. Semenya back in about 9th or 10th at the moment. That's Florencia Borelli of Argentina. She's only 15-23 athlete, Borelli. Still 19 years old, learning her trade. Wonderful experience this for her. For young athletes just coming to a championships like this and going through the process of living in the athletes' village and checking in for your events and getting out on the start line and dealing with those nerves when you feel sometimes like you want the world, the track to open up and swallow you up. It's a great learning curve that can be used in years to come. You can sort of tick that box and say, right, now I can focus on something else. I've experienced those extreme nerves of being on a stage that the whole world is watching. Schweitzer getting a lot of support, and the pace here looks to be reasonably honest. They've gone through 1 kilometre, just checking at Split. Looks like the first kilometre was 2:57 with Hironaka in front. So just a click inside, a couple of clicks inside 3 minutes. So they're on about 14:50 pace. It's quite respectable in these conditions. Single file as you would expect because it is on the reasonably healthy side, this tempo. Segai in 5th place in that green vest to write a picture for Ethiopia. She's a lovely looking performer. The 4th fastest in history, up on her toes. She almost tiptoes along. Fabulously quick. I think she ran a world indoor record for 1500 metres the winter before last. Semenya now, what, about 5th or 6th from the back. She's a big, powerful woman. Very comfortable over 400, 800 and 1500. She's run very fast over 400 metres, Semenya. I think just around 50 seconds, but has obviously run 1:55 for 800 and under 4 minutes for 1500 metres. But 5,000 metres is a very different game, particularly in these difficult conditions. That was Sarah Lahti of Sweden just easing past Semenya, who is now 3rd from the back as this group of about 9 begins to ease away. Hironaka still churning out this early pace. Now, Segai just biding her time, just letting these laps click by. The 10,000 metres, remember, was last Saturday, so they've had plenty of time to recover, these athletes. Emily Infeld, watch her, bronze medalist over 10,000 metres back in 2015 in Beijing. Seyoum, very much amongst the favourites too. She's won her 2 5,000s this year. The Birmingham Diamond League over 5,000, and then very impressively with a personal best 14:25 at the Oslo Diamond League some 4 weeks or so back. But it's Hironaka still leading from Schweitzer. Klosterhalfen in 3rd, Chebet in 4th, Kim Kemboy sitting back there, in about 6th place at the moment. 9 athletes beginning to get away. And it's not surprising that others are suffering, because these are very difficult conditions. And 9 in this lead group, 10, 11th place there. That 3rd chasing pair is Mark Oates of Great Britain. Went out in a heat in Tokyo, over 5,000 metres last year, the European indoor champion. Klosterhalfen, well, she is the real deal. Fabulously consistent. Quite a character too. She loves playing the piano, loves playing the flute. And is a complete racer, more or less. Done a bit of modelling in her time too. Carisha Schweitzer in 2nd place in those USA colours, getting the crowd excited. The stadium gradually filling all the time. Really good crowds on this first bend that they come towards now as they go through. with 6 laps to go. Right at the back of the group is Infeld. There's Costa of the Netherlands. She's not enjoying this much. Maureen Costa, European indoor bronze medalist back in 2015. Didn't finish her heat back in 2019 in Doha over 5,000 metres, and she's struggling here as Hironaka continues to pump it out, and you have to admire this. Remember, there will be 5 non-automatic qualifiers spots for the final. So the first 5 in this heat and the second heat will go through by right, and then 5, the next 5 fastest, will go through. So Hironaka probably think to herself, if I can make this quick, if I can keep this honest, then I could finish in 10th place here and still go through. Well, into the home straight. This will be 3,000 metres this time, and she has kept it very healthy, Hironaka. She moves aside to see if Schweitzer wants to contribute a little bit. It's going to be almost exactly 9 minutes at 3,000, 8:59.9. So just the quickest click under 15-minute tempo. These athletes are about 25-30 metres ahead of Costa. I think the Swede Lahti back in 10th and 11th to write a picture. They head into the back straight. Nobody really contributing to this. They're letting Hironaka do all the work. Now, Japanese are generally such lovely, gentle people that I know plenty of athletes would be angered by this, having to do this, and they would use this as something to fire them up. Nobody prepared to help. Right, I'll get my head down and make it hurt you guys. Seo right at the back of the group, by the way, with Infeld there to write a picture. In front of them is the Eritrean Rahel Daniel, who's got to be running on tired legs after that 10,000 metres. What a run she had. A personal best by 47 seconds in that 10,000 for Rahel Daniel of Eritrea. She's at the back of this lead pack. That's Kip Kemboy, who leads at the moment. Silver medalist back in 2019. Indeed, she and Klosterhalven taking those minor places behind the glorious golden run of Helen Obiri in Doha. Hironaka, Schweitzer, Klosterhalfen, Chebet, Kip Kemboy, and then Segai of Ethiopia with Infeld behind her, and also there Daniel, and bring up the rear of the group now is the other Ethiopian, Dawit Sayom. Well, they've known Anna England for many months. The conditions here in Eugene in late July would be hot and testing, so they've all had their chances to acclimatise, but quite a few athletes now not enjoying this. They're spread out around the track for over 100 metres behind this leading pack.
The cumulative effect of heat on fatigue, it can build up and then hit you very suddenly, and I think that could happen as we're well into this last mile here of this women's 5,000 metre heat. You're right, they knew what the conditions were going to be. We saw some athletes walking up with ice vests to try and keep their body temperature as low as possible before they began their warm-up. The likes of Chris Schweitzer should be very used to training and competing in these conditions, as is Klosterhalfen. But it really does start to test you. They've got 3 laps to go now, and if we were another 5 centigrade kind of cooler or so, you'd think it'd probably go to the form, but with that heat and that fatigue, it could be quite unpredictable.
Well, it certainly could, yes. They've taken 2:31 to do the last 800 metres. They're inside the last 3 laps now, and they get to the top end of the back straight now. It'll be 1 kilometre to go, and it is gradually whittling down. And Schweitzer has hit the front now from Hironaka. Schweitzer and Hironaka. And Kip Kemboy, and now easing up is Segai into an attacking position with 1 kilometre to go. They go through 4K, 12:06.8. What will happen in this final kilometre? Will the fireworks occur? It looks like we're heading for a sub 15-minute time. Schweitzer is making them work for this, and she's making the long run from home, maybe fearing the speed of the East Africans.
I think, well, Schweizer's a brilliant 1500-metre runner at her best, right down low in the 4 minutes. She came fourth at the USA Championships, despite having already done the 5,000 then. The 10,000 was a few weeks before. They ran that as a standalone championships, and that gave the likes of Carissa Schweitzer an opportunity to back up her qualification in the 10K with this team spot here, and then test her speed over the 1500, and she picked up a handy fourth there. So Carissa Schweitzer, she's got the sprint finish, but I think you're right, Tim. You don't want to have to test the sprint finish against a group of those Africans that are queuing up beside her, particularly Gudaf Segei, the 1500-metre silver medalist, and she's just moving up alongside the American now.
Segei accelerates yet again, turns it up another notch. Schweitzer in second place, 600 metres to run. And these five are away, and it is five who go through automatically. Infeld back in sixth place with Hironaka on her heels. There's that pairing to the right of picture. But these five are away and safe, and they can very soon start glancing around to check what's going on behind them. Segei, Schweitzer, Chebet. On the inside is Seyoum. And then coming through on the inside, goodness knows why, Kip Kemboy, whether she thinks it's the final lap. It's a lap to go just yet, 13:45 on the clock as they come down below us. The last lap was a 67.6, a significant acceleration. The one before that was 70, the one before that was 71. As they head into the last 300 metres, these five very comfortable, and they really can now look around and check out what's going on. They've got about 25 metres on the pair behind them, Infeld and Hironaka.
They really should be easing off, like you say, Tim. Those top five are automatically qualified. Carissa Schweitzer's had quite a break from that 10,000 metres. Perhaps she wants to stretch her legs, kind of see where her body's at after that 10,000 metres. But Segei, she's not had a lot of recovery from the 1500, but there's always a bit of bragging rights. Maybe you want to finish on a high as you look towards that final.
Coming into the home straight for the final time then. This has been a very comfortable qualifying heat for these five athletes. As five go through automatically, and there they are right now. Everybody behind will have to wait and see for the second heat. Segei sprinting for the line with Seyoum, her teammate, behind her. The Ethiopians take 1-2. Goodness knows what all the sprinting was about. The gap behind them is fully 40 metres as those five go across the line. Emily Infeld crosses the line there, just outside 15 minutes, I think even inside 15:01. And Hironaka in seventh place. Wouldn't you love her to get through? She did so much of the work through that race. Probably led for about 3/4 of the race to try and keep it honest. They all need to go up to her and give her a big thank you, frankly. Klosterhalfen, she has suffered desperately in the second half. She crossed the line there in about 15:19, something like that, in 8th place. And Costa was right behind her. She has not enjoyed the heat one bit, and that from Klosterhalfen was nothing short of a disaster, really, when you think she's a 14:26 athlete. She's finished there about 45-50 seconds behind her lifetime best.
But these conditions, they are pretty extreme. 32 degrees to run a 5k in, and it's pretty airless here in the stadium. You don't get that refreshing breeze that you might get out on the roadside or out in the park, and so it's not really any surprise to me that you've seen some quite surprising results.
Well, these five coming home very comfortably indeed. Segei and Seyoum, the Ethiopian pairing 1-2. Beatrice Chebet of Kenya, of course, qualifies as well, along with her teammate Margaret Chalimo Kipkemboy, and then Carissa Schweitzer, great run from the American in 5th place, and her teammate Emily Infeld in 6th place, just outside 15 minutes. Maybe safe with that, we'll have to see. The athletes in the second heat do have that advantage, but having run the 5,000 in Rome in 87 myself, I know what it's like to run in 30 degrees centigrade plus heat. It is horrible. It's a matter of survival unless you're really having a great day at the office. These five work, they look comfortable, don't they? Segei, little sprint, and can you believe it, a dip at the line to win that first heat.
Gudaf Segei. Perhaps she did get out sprinted by Faith Kipyegon in that women's 1500, so maybe wanting to leave on a positive note as she looks towards the 5,000 final on Saturday.
Well, it's all there for the second heat to do, and they know what they've got to do now. Basically, 6th place Emily Infeld, 15 minutes and 0.98 of a second. So there's the target. Make it around 3 minutes per kilometre, there or thereabouts, Hannah, and you should go through, even if you're in 9th or 10th place in the second heat.
Well, perhaps easier said than done, but it's the likes of Caroline Grovdale to do that in the second heat. She's no stranger to front running.